tough questions of our faith. There are a lot of things about our faith that are common in other religions. There are other things that are common between our religion and our following Jesus and other teachings that aren't Christian. There are good people out there that are generous, kind, forgiving, and do a lot of good in the world, but they're not Christian. And so we've been looking at the tough questions of what do we need to believe to call ourselves followers of Jesus or disciples of Christ or Christian. And this week we're going to look at what brings fulfillment. Fame, success, money. You know, my life's journey has been really unique and I think pretty cool. As I was preparing this message, I realized that I have sat around tables and eaten with billionaires. With the big billionaires. I've also sat in the poorest country in our world and shared a meal with someone. So I have this diverse, I guess, journey, if you will, of meeting all these different types of people. And all of them, you know, sometimes will say to me in confidence, those that have had money, that have reached fame, that have success, many times, you know, they can't articulate it, but it's exactly what they're saying, but they'll say it in some ways that their life is just lacking something. It's lacking something, and they don't know what that is. And as we look into what it means to be a Christian and answer tough questions, and we can agree that all of us, no matter where we are in our faith journey, all of us want some kind of meaning out of this life. We want our existence here on this earth to mean something, to have a purpose, if you will. We don't want to get to the end of our life and realize, what were we here for? We all search for that. We all look for something that to fill kind of a void in our life, whether that's a big void or a small void. And during this time of Lent, we turn to Jesus for that answer. What will bring us fulfillment in our life? Especially one group of people who call themselves Christians or followers of Jesus. An example of that is if you will turn to me to the 13th chapter of the Gospel of John. As Jesus doesn't tell us, he shows us how to find fulfillment in our life. Chapter 13, verse 1. It was just before the Passover festival that Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. And the evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, he took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. And after that, he poured water into a basin, and he began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. Verse 12. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and he returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. We need to understand that in the time of Jesus, everyone walked to their destination. And in the region where they walked, it was customary for everyone to wear sandals. It was customary for the roads and the paths to be rocky and sandy and dirty. And we need to understand that when a guest would come to dinner, which was the utmost honor. During that time, it was customary for the host to have their servants at the ready to wash the feet of the guests who arrived. If the guest was a very close loved one, then the host may, on a rare occasion, provide the service himself. And if the host had no servants, then water and a towel was provided for the guests to kind of wash their own feet, if you will. You see, clean feet were critically important, as all dined in a reclining position, usually on the floor of the house. So you can imagine not wanting someone's funky feet in your face while you're sitting there trying to enjoy a meal. You can laugh about that, it's okay. But you also need to understand that washing the feet was the lowest of the servants' jobs, if you will. Jesus tied a linen cloth around his waist by which to dry their feet. Obviously not what one would expect a master, host, guest to do. And it even goes further, because the Jewish Old Testament text says that that's something that a Gentile servant does, not even a Jewish servant does, is wash the feet. On the other hand, if no one was available, foot washing was sort of kind of something that wives did for their husbands, that children did for their aging parents, that disciples did for their teacher, that students did for their mentors. Because there's a level of intimacy involved in these cases. And unlike when Gentile slaves would do the washing, and in Jesus' case, there's obviously a reversal of roles for his disciples that play out. You know, I mean, think about it for a second. The one into whose hands the Father has given all now takes his disciples' feet into his own hands to wash them. That's so rich in theology of what Christ does for us on the cross. And we're reminded that our story today was right before the Last Supper. And Jesus shows this incredible act of humility, this incredible act of love and acceptance and a role reversal, if you will, of the way things have always been done. Because Jesus was the guest of honor. And it was totally unheard of that the honored person at the meal would even think of washing the feet of all those who gathered. I mean, sometimes in traditions, churches have put this foot washing in a holy situation, and it's rightly so. But it wasn't something that was even to be glorified. It was the job no one wanted to do. Here's our Lord and Savior washing the feet. Washing the feet of the one who had already been put into the hands of the devil, the one who had already betrayed him. Here he is washing his feet as well. Here he is washing the feet of the one who not once, not twice, but 3 times would even deny he even knew Jesus at Christ's most critical time. The ones who would run and scared and abandon him in the darkest season of his life, here he is washing their feet. Because the lasting impression, the last action of Jesus' ministry here on this earth was to illustrate that of servanthood. To serve others. God's glory is illustrated when we serve others just as Jesus did. Why? Why that? I mean, Jesus teaches us by example that service to others is the key ingredient of a rewarding life. By taking the role of a servant, by washing his disciples' feet, Jesus shows us that true fulfillment comes from the caring of others. Why is that important? Why is that a struggle for us today? Why is that easy to say but hard to follow out in our daily lives? Because with someone and they don't text me back immediately, guess what? I feel unimportant. I feel ignored. And for better, for worse, that is the society in which we navigate. That is the society in which our children or grandchildren are forced to navigate waters, all trying to find and live by this example of Jesus Christ. It's tough. Why? Because our society is conditioned to be self-absorbed. We live in this false state of reality because we will never be fulfilled because we will always desire more. Here's the key. Self-absorbed people who live only for themselves will never, ever be content. Never. I'm going to repeat that because that's some good preaching. Self-absorbed people who live only for themselves will never, ever, ever be content. Why? Because yourself, the sense of self, is too small of a God to serve. And true fulfillment comes through the service of others. And there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of different ways that exist for us to follow Jesus' example. I can't tell you what to do to serve other people. It's in your heart. And maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it is even going and liking someone's picture and saying, hey, I've been reading your status for the past month. You know what? Seems like you're going through a dark time right now. Maybe I can pray for you. Maybe we can have coffee. I don't know what that means. Maybe that means grabbing paint and going paint someone's house or building a wheelchair. I don't know. But you know. It's in your heart. It's when you do something for someone and expect nothing in return. You see, every Christian is called by God to pick up a towel and wash the feet of others the same way He did. And when we do that, we will find that true joy and fulfillment. I don't know why. I don't know how. I can't explain it. And maybe it's in the humility, if you will. Maybe it's in the surrender, if you will. Maybe it's in the only reason you're doing this or helping this person or doing that because of your love for God, love for them. I don't know what the secret DNA of it is. But I do know when you truly humble yourself, when you truly serve someone else, when you serve someone else that you are not required to help, when you show that compassion and love, something miraculous happens inside. If for a brief moment, when you intimately serve someone with no strings attached, expecting nothing in return, there is a joy and a fulfillment like nothing else. It's a feel that no money can buy. It's a feel that no acknowledgement can feel, no award, no drug, no attention can feel. I can't explain it, but it's there. And we can be good, generous people. We can serve others and not be Christian. But we cannot